If you're a young man who feels weak, unmotivated, anxious, and numb all the time, it's not just life, it's your testosterone. And more than likely, if you're experiencing these symptoms, you have lower testosterone than your granddad and your granddad's granddad. And that's not an accident. For the first time in history, young men today have lower testosterone than an old person with cancer, and no one gives a shit about it. And actually, these young men actually deserve to have low testosterone, as harsh as that sounds. Because look around. Look what all these young men are doing right now. We're addicted to many things that just harms our body and our mental health, like porn, junk food, drugs, alcohol, not being active, not exercising, or staying up very late at night on our phones. Now, compare all these habits to someone who lived around 1,000 years ago. Compare these to the Romans, the Greeks, the Spartans, the Crusaders, the Mongols. Their lifestyle was completely different to what it is today. Back then, the lifestyle of young men was of a warrior. They trained every single day. They ate what they could farm, and they were more disciplined and more hardworking because their survival depended on it. Now society has gotten way too comfortable and way too easy for young men, and we're just fine. We live like that, we're complacent. Most men nowadays are complete losers, and not gonna lie to you, I probably was a loser once because I used to do all these things. And most men that you probably know have no vision for anything. They might do something a little challenging like go work a 9 to 5, but when it comes time to come back home, they just have this free space and free time to do anything, but they choose badly. They just come back, play video games, eat junk food. They just stay idle and complacent, and they don't even exercise. Most men nowadays don't even exercise. How crazy is that? Those kind of people deserve low testosterone. But what is crazy about this is that even the guys who are doing all the good habits, like going to the gym, lifting heavy weights, not eating junk food, or not watching porn, those guys are still experiencing symptoms of low testosterone. And this might be you as well. You probably do all the good habits like going to the gym and all that, and yet you still have low testosterone, or at least it feels like it. So what can you do about it? Growing up as an obese, at one point a skinny kid, I practically experienced low testosterone my whole life. My life was miserable, and I had no energy for anything, to lift weights or to do work at school. I was pretty much a flaccid penis. Everywhere I went, I was just insecure of myself. It got to the point where I just completely hated to go out in public. Whether that was going to a family reunion or going to the store, I just hated it. I just hated it because I didn't feel anything like a young man, a young boy with high testosterone. And that led up into my adult years and affected almost every single aspect of my life, from my relationships to my work ethic. It got to the point where I said, fuck this, I need to change. And I finally changed. And around the age of 20, 21, 22, I decided to do my research on how to change my testosterone. So I did what any young man would do. I would go on YouTube and search many ways, different guides on how to increase my testosterone. And I found this one particular concept called test maxing. And what test maxing is that you're trying to improve every single aspect of your life in order to increase your testosterone, whether that's your diets or the things that you put on your body. And I tried this for a very long time. Months passed, but I still feel like shit. I was doing all the good habits, but I still feel like shit. Something was not normal here. Until, out of nowhere, I started to experience pain in my left testicle. I know that sounds funny, but my balls were starting to hurt. And for months, I didn't really bother. I thought it was something normal. But then I got to a point where it was hurting really bad that I went to get it checked out at the doctor. And what they told me there is that I had a varicocele and that I needed a surgery to get it removed. And what a varicocele is pretty much swelling in the veins inside your testicles. So pretend this little thing is your balls. On top of it will be veins that are attached to it. And what happens when you have a varicocele, those veins like to inflammate, and they get bigger and bigger to the point where it hurts and you feel the sharp dull pain. And varicoceles are known to lower your testosterone and your sperm count. So pretty much it means you're infertile. And the crazy thing about this is that about 20% of the whole male population have this. How crazy is that? 20% of men have the probability of not having kids. And the cause is not known. Doctors don't know what a varicocele is caused by. Now, if we look at testicular cancer, 1 in 250 men will develop it. And the majority of those men that develop it are young men between the ages of 20 to 35. Something seems very odd here, right? Something is going wrong with our balls. Doesn't it seem like it? Especially for those people who are doing all the good habits, they're doing all the clean stuff, they're living a healthy life. Something is wrong with young men in modern society. And there's many different reasons for that. But the main reason that I believe that is the probable cause of all these problems is our environment. Our environment nowadays is filled with many things like toxins and chemicals that destroys our hormones, like pesticides, air pollutions, plastics, microplastics. Like literally, we all have microplastics inside of us because it's everywhere. It's inside our food, inside our water, inside of our air, our fucking air that we breathe. It's inside of that. And guess what? It was scientifically confirmed that all men, all 100% of men have microplastics in their testicles. And it seems like no one's worried about it. Nowadays, people are more worried about protecting illegal sexual predators from being deported. There is a hidden problem with modern men. And bro, it's so unfair for all the men that are doing all the good things. This is the sad reality that a lot of guys are starting to face now. So what can you do to fix this? Alright, so 2 months ago, I got myself a testosterone test. And the test came back at 932 nanograms per deciliter, which it told me was at the higher end, at the higher range of normal. So what exactly did I do to increase my testosterone? I declared war against modern society. I said fuck you to all the modern society bullshit. And I stopped staying up late. I stopped chasing easy dopamine and dedicated myself to bodybuilding. I stopped eating my meat. I stopped eating junk food and consuming seed oils. But ultimately what I did was I changed my identity. I said fuck you to my environment and to the microplastics, and I doubled down on all my war efforts. And I started to visualize and pretend that I had high testosterone, and automatically I would do activities that would increase my testosterone. Like I would spend most of my time in the sun getting some vitamin D, and I would consume supplements like Tongkat Ali and vitamin D, iron, magnesium. But the number one most thing that I needed to change, and if you want to increase your testosterone, you need to prioritize this. And that was to get good quality sleep. When we sleep, this is the most important time out of the whole day, because this is time where our balls produce testosterone and sperm. This is the time where your body gets to recover and rest. That's why in the morning, you get morning wood. That's where your little pee-pee goes up. That's why you get hard in the morning. Because throughout the whole night, your testicles build up all this testosterone inside your balls. And what happens when you get bad quality sleep is that you interrupt that cycle. Every time you wake up in the middle of the night to go pee, that's lowering your testosterone. And you might hear from doctors or some experts that you need around 8 hours of sleep. But that's a complete lie. Don't listen to that. Because think about it. If you go to sleep around 10 p.m. and your wake up time is around 6 a.m., that seems to be 8 hours, right? Not actually. Because it takes a little bit to fall asleep, right? It might take you like around 15 to 20 minutes to fall asleep. And when you are asleep, you're actually not asleep throughout the whole time you're in bed, because you toss and you turn and you wake up. In reality, you're not getting 8 hours of sleep. You're getting more like 5 to 7 hours of sleep. So the best way to fix this problem is to increase your bedtime, meaning extending the amount of time between when you're in bed and when you get out of bed. So you need more like a total of 10 hours of bedtime. So if your bedtime is around 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., you need it to be in bed actually at 8 p.m. And by doing this allows your body to get rest, to wind down, and recognize it's supposed to get some rest. And over time, by building this habit, this will increase your sleep quality. But don't be a complete retard and do this hyper-stimulating shit before you go to bed, like watching porn or playing video games. No, don't do that. When it's time to wind down and rest, before it's time to go to sleep, read something. Read a book. Do something that's not very high energy, like listening to a podcast or Joe Rogan or something like that. Use this time to allow your body to wind down and get some rest. Testosterone is an extremely important hormone for young men. This is the difference between you being a feminine man or you being a masculine, strong man who takes care of his family. This is the difference between you feeling lazy or you being ambitious. So you be the difference of that. change your life, increase your testosterone, and increase your overall health. Be the example for your future son. Don't be that deadbeat dad like Homer Simpson or like Peter Griffin from the Family Guy show. Be the difference and teach your future son of this knowledge and set him up for success as you did for yourself. Thank you for watching. If you really enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and I really thank you for doing that.